Hey everybody, how's it going? Marcos Villegas for Fight Up TV, powered by Stagefront VIP, being joined with Caleb Plant, who takes on David Benavidez coming up March 25th on Showtime pay-per-view, in a fight that fans everywhere have been looking forward to for a very, very long time. I want to say 4 or 5 years in the making. Caleb, your feelings overall now that we just finished the press conference is a very back and forth type one. They were very, very aggressive with what they had to say towards you.
I mean, no, not too much. I don't really like to go back and forth too much. So, seemed like a lot of rah-rah from their side, a lot of like trying really hard, with everything they had to say. And then, I go to say something, they want to interrupt. And the pussy and the bitch, it kind of reminds me of the Darrell lead up, honestly, And, but this ain't my first big fight. I've been here before. I've dealt with things like that. And at the highest level of boxing, there are no bitches and there are no pussies. And so if that's what they're looking to prove, I wouldn't hold my breath on that.
Do you think? Well, let's take a step back. Where do you think this is all coming from on their end, in your opinion?
I mean, probably just agreeing to disagree on who's better. And in every interview, I feel like they bring my name up, and just like the Darrell fight, I'm a bitch, I'm a pussy, and but I don't know. I can't speak for them on why they're so, rah-rah. And, as soon as we put up in the car this morning, it's like, as soon as we hop out of the car, they like want to run up on us. It's like 15 security guards and the Showtime cameras. And it's like, they're really only doing that for the cameras. That's the only reason they were waiting in the lobby on us. And all that rah-rah stuff, that's not what real tough guys do. That's a controlled environment. You got 15 big security guards sitting around. You got the Showtime cameras. They know not that nothing's going to happen, so it's easy for them to want to act all big and tough for the cameras. But if we went in a controlled environment, we were just out and about somewhere, I don't think it'd be the same, the same amount of tough guy shit.
He has this moniker that he's going with because of what Mike Tyson said, the Mexican Monster. What do you make of that and them buying into that name, that vibe, that energy?
I mean, they should buy into that. That's exactly what they should do. That's what the great Mike Tyson said, then why not, right?
When you look at making the fight, Jose has said to many of the media members that you didn't want the fight, you didn't ever want the fight, you were finding every single way to get out of it. He started listing, things here and there. When you heard that, what was your first initial reaction, and is any of that true?
Yeah, well, again, like I said up there, the fight with Darrell was a WBC title eliminator. David is the interim champ. So I know if I win this fight, then what does that mean, right? That I'm going to be fighting for the interim belt. So going into the Darrell fight, I know who I'm fighting next. So, no one had to talk me into fighting Darrell, because I could have chosen no name, somebody who wasn't ranked high enough in the WBC, and then it wouldn't have been a title eliminator, which means I wouldn't have had to fight David. But I didn't go that route. Coming off an 11-month layoff of my first loss, I wanted to make the biggest fight possible. And so we made the Darrell fight, knowing that I win this fight, I'm going to be in line to fight for the interim title, which means I'll become the WBC mandatory. And so it's not like I had to be cornered or pressured. I could have very easily took an easy fight, a sparring session of a fight, and people would have said, oh, well, he just came off his first loss. It's been 11 months. Let's let him get his or whatever it may be. And I went the complete opposite direction. So and I had knockout of the year. I beat him in devastating fashion, more devastating than how he beat him. And so no, I didn't have to be talked into this. And then as far as the negotiation, it's just it's like, hey, we know the next move, fighting David. What would it take to make the fight happen? I said, hey, could we get a 22 by 22 foot ring? They were like, I got to check and see. I got to go back. And as far as the rival gloves, he wears rival gloves every fight. So, that wasn't one of my requests for him to wear rival gloves. The contract said a glove of your choice. And if I was to make him wear a certain glove, why wouldn't I make him wear the same glove I'm wearing? Because now I know it's the same. I wouldn't make him wear a different glove than me. So I don't know where he got that from. He lies about a lot of things. So I don't know. But anyways, a day or two later, they come back. They said, hey, done deal. It's going to be in Vegas. And let's go.
The dad, when he says stuff, does it go out in one ear and out the other? Like the things that he says, that you kind of just brush it off as just them trying to get it in your head?
Yeah, definitely. Again, Jose Sr. doesn't just call me a pussy and a bitch. He calls a lot of fighters that in interviews. And again, like I was trying to say up there, you don't really hear boxing coaches talking to fighters like that, because boxing coaches have been there. They've made that walk to the ring. They know what it's like to get up in front of everybody and lay it all out on the line. And so, you know, being more mature, more wise, you know, more experienced, boxing coaches understand that they got to take their opponent serious, have a healthy respect, and that, you know, you're not a bitch or a pussy if you can make that walk to the ring. Jose, he's never been a fighter. He's never been a boxer. He's never had to lace up gloves to feed his family, provide for his family. He's never had to make that walk as an amateur or a pro. So he don't know what it's like. So it's easy for him to, you know, throw around loose terminology like that. And, you know, people on the inside of the sport, we may get a lot of that from people on social media calling us names and stuff like that, but you don't really hear about someone who's on the inside of boxing calling fighters like that, especially boxing coaches. But he's a rarity in the sport, you know, someone who you know, it's like it's no thing to him to call them that. But if we were outside on the street and it was just me or him, you think he'd be talking to me like that? I'm asking you.
Probably not.
Yeah, he wouldn't. Because what? Because I'd crack his fucking head in and I'd stomp that motherfucker.
So when, like, we go back to what I was saying, it seems like they're more trying to get into you, like mind games, trying to get like an advantage. So he said other stuff, questioning your knockout over Anthony Durrell. Yeah. He called it, you know, magical KO powers all of a sudden. Yeah. I know you've always been a clean fighter and you've always advocated for that. You know, when you hear that, like, is it in a way super disrespectful to you because of what you have always stood for as a fighter? Yeah,
it is. But, you know, whether that gets to me or not or bothers me, that's a different question. And, again, he makes up a lot of things. He lies about a lot of things. So, you know, for him to lie one more time, it's really not surprising to me. But, you know, I am a superhero, and, you know, I do have superpowers.
What kind of superpowers?
You have to ask Darrell
that. You know, Caleb, like I mentioned, this is a very anticipated fight. When you look at the fight and what David is as a fighter, why do you feel that you're a lot better than him? Why do you feel that this fight, even though it's going to be competitive, we think that you're going to end up not only having your fight, but you've told me in the past, don't be surprised if you even stop him.
Yeah, I mean, I got the better fundamentals. I got the better IQ. I got the better team. Both of my coaches have actually been in the ring before. They know what it's like to make that walk. Myself and the rest of my team have a healthy respect for any opponent who stands across from me, because that's something that you got to have. And, you know, I'm just a better boxer. And tune in March 25th and you'll find out.
I'm getting a cue to cut the interview, but how bad do you want to put hands on this guy? And I'll leave it with this.
Real bad.
Yeah. All right. Caleb, as always, man, good seeing you. Happy for you. Happy for the new family that you have. And just in general, man, you've come a long, long way. And just happy. Really, really happy for you, man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.